Hi, it's Adam, and welcome back to the Board Leadership Series, Executive Education for Nonprofit Boards. We're on to part 4 of the Board Leadership Series 100, our fundraising fundamentals. And in our last session, we talked about how to speak clearly and naturally about your nonprofit, without the jargon, using real words that are spoken from your heart. Today, we're looking at what happens after that, not on your side, but on theirs. We're going to take a look inside the head and the heart of a donor. And today we're going to understand why people give. Because if you understand that, everything else that you do as a board member makes more sense. So let's break it down into 3 psychological moments. First, curiosity leads to connection. Every gift, every volunteer engagement starts with a spark. It usually sounds like someone saying, "Hey, that's really interesting. Hey, tell me more. I didn't know you're involved in that." And that's the first sign of life, that little bit of curiosity. And you know what turns curiosity into connection? Trust. And trust is built when someone sees consistency between what you say and what you do. It's built when a board member follows up, when they're warm, human. And that kind of trust can't be outsourced. And that's why your presence as a leader matters. Second, alignment leads to action. Once someone feels that trust from you, they start asking, do I see myself in this? And this is the moment that turns observation into participation. They're not just thinking about programs, they're thinking about identity. Would giving here reflect what I value? And this is where the story that you tell and the way you tell it becomes the bridge between values and action. It's where you help people feel like they belong in the mission. And third, reinforcement builds the relationship. Because even after a gift, something powerful is happening. The donor's wondering, was it worth it? Will my gift be remembered? Will it make an impact? And this is where your job as a board member really matters. It's called stewardship. It's called reinforcement. Things like a thank you call, or a quick follow-up story, or having one of your fellow board members check in months later with the person. Because giving is not a transaction, it's a relationship. And the relationship needs care. So if fundraising has ever felt like a mystery, just remember this. Curiosity leads to connection, alignment leads to action, and reinforcement builds that relationship. In your role as a board member, you don't need to close the gift, you just need to show up at the moments that matter most. Up next, we're going to dive into the final piece of fundraising fundamentals, invite your 5. And trust me, it's simpler and more powerful than you think. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us on the Board Leadership Series.